Good morning, y'all. My name is Jay Brown. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am up bright and early this Monday morning. I'm out running errands, y'all. But I wanted to stop and chit chat with y'all about some controversial Coach shopping habits that are really making a stir in the bag community right now. And I just want to have a judgment-free conversation over here if we can, okay? So let's go ahead and get right into it, you guys. The first controversial shopping habit that has really caused quite the stir here recently is the conversation between people purchasing things just to unbox. And by people, I mean content creators purchasing things just to unbox on camera. And I think this conversation is also very closely linked to people's preference to have and receive a factory wrapped item. So let's get into it, okay? So as you know, I am a content creator, and I will say I have fallen into the trap of purchasing things specifically to unbox and show on my channel. And this wasn't so much with Coach items, it was mainly with Juicy Couture. Juicy Couture was something that was not really in my preferred style or price bracket, to be honest, when I initially began my channel, but I saw that it was trending, and so I did join in. I wasn't necessarily interested in Juicy Couture, but I saw that it was trending, and I did want an extra boost in building my channel. And oftentimes, we as content creators, you guys, we are doing a service. Everyone cannot make it into a local store. Not all states have easily accessible Coach locations, whether it is the outlet or retail, but especially retail. Like for myself, I live 35 miles, a 45 to 1 hour drive away from the nearest Coach retail store. And honestly, same thing for the outlets. I'm a good distance away from 2 outlets, unless I go to work, then one's super close. But everyone does not have an easily accessible Coach store or department store to be able to go and see these things in person. So as content creators, those of us who are putting forth our own money, not being reimbursed or anything, we're not being paid. And I think people forget that just because we get AdSense money or other forms of revenue does not mean that immediately in the beginning that people are actually making money on their channels. So they're taking a hit and taking a loss to purchase these things. So that needs to be kept in mind. Yes, it may be irritating to see people constantly buy things and return them, but you also have to look at it from the content creators. It would be helpful to look at it from the content creators' perspective. Now, I also want to say that content creators are not the only ones buying things and returning them. There's a lot of us out here, yes, but the process of buying and returning things, and this is for any retailer, there's a lot of folks who buy things and return them. Why? Because it's their right, you guys. It is their right. Should we be forced to keep something that doesn't work for us as a consumer if we've purchased it? No, none of us should. Content creators, are they doing it with an ulterior motive? Yes, I get it. But at the end of the day, a lot of people, when they're making their content, we have noticed there is a very clear and consistent trend for some channels where the only videos that actually get views are the unboxings. That's literally what everyone wants to see. People want to see the bag. And again, if you're trying to grow your channel, you're trying to grow your subscribers, whatever it is, oftentimes those are the videos that bring in views. And so the sudden backlash specifically against content creators is very interesting to me. The flip side, as a consumer, I do worry about it. And me personally, I try not to make too many returns, mainly because it looks bad after a certain point. And some retailers do track individual customer returns, and eventually you could be banned. And I'm not saying that that's something that Coach does, but it is a retail trend. Okay, now associated with this conversation, a lot of folks are saying that Coach should begin charging a restocking fee. I completely disagree with that. If Coach were to begin charging a restocking fee, that would surely limit what I purchase from them and really honestly strain the relationship even further that I have with Coach as a retailer and one of my favorite brands. I should not have to be penalized for returning something that is defective or does not work for me, does not fit my lifestyle. Now, me as an individual, I do take a bit more time to think about the bags that I'm purchasing. I do watch a ton of reviews, and if I can, I do try to go and see the bag in person before I purchase it, especially over a certain price point. But I think it's absurd to say that Coach should charge a restocking fee really aimed at content creators and resellers. Let's be for real, y'all. Like, I think we're doing a lot now. We are doing a lot in the bag community. Let's go into the next part of this conversation, which I think at the end of the day, it really boils down to people wanting a factory wrapped item. And I want to know from y'all, is that a deal breaker for you? If you get a bag that is not factory wrapped, are you pissed off or are you irritated? Does it annoy you? I see both sides of that as well. I think we feel an extra sense of reassurance that the bag should be in pristine condition if it's factory wrapped. But if a bag is defective, it's going to be defective whether it's factory wrapped or not, right? I also prefer factory wrapped bags, but it does put me on notice when I receive one that isn't factory wrapped to just be extra cautious, take a closer look at the bag, and just make sure that it meets my standards. But it's not a complete and total deal breaker for me. There have been a few times where I've received bags, mainly from department store purchases, but every now and again you'll buy something from the outlet and it is very clear that it is a floor model and it was just thrown in the bag. And I think that's what really pisses us off, right? We've spent our hard-earned money, no matter what the price is, just for us to receive a bag that was carelessly thrown into a box and just shipped out to us. And then you don't know if it's gotten damaged during shipping. You don't know if it was damaged prior to being placed in the box. You just don't know. And either way, nobody wants a damaged item. And so I think that's where this big argument comes in with people preferring factory wrap. And there's nothing wrong with that, to be honest. But on the flip side, you guys, Coach is the only brand I know that wraps things to the extent that they do. No other brand that I have purchased from wraps things up as tightly like Fort Knox, like Coach does. And with the factory wrapping, I understand there is a fair amount of excitement with being the first to unwrap and unbox your item. And this is just for your own personal view, personal pleasure, not unboxing to share. But I totally get that you want to be the first one to open and enjoy your item. And I respect that. And that does make me extra happy as a bag collector as well. Next one is a fairly new observation for me. Only within like the past, I'd say about 6 months or so, I've been hearing about one of these. And then the other one, this is brand new behavior, y'all. And again, no judgment, but it is a trip to me. Purchasing Coach bags from non-traditional, out of the way retailers. And by that, I mean the recent trend of purchasing bags from the Coach airport locations and folks who have figured out how to buy bags from international retailers. So sometimes, there are bags that are released in other countries, Japan or UK exclusives, and we don't have access to them here in the US. Or sometimes the bags may sell out here in the US and folks have figured out how to order them from Canada directly. Very interesting. I haven't done a fair amount of research into the process, honestly, you guys, because this just is not my thing. It's not that serious for me with any bag. Like, if I have to go on that far of a hunt, I'm good. I don't need it. I just want to know, would you go to those lengths to get a bag? Is there any bag that you wanted that much that you were willing to order it from another country or make arrangements for someone that you know to ship it to you, or to visit an airport location to get early access to bags. And for those of you who have not heard of this, this is a recent thing that has emerged in a few Discord groups, maybe some Facebook groups that I learned about on TikTok. Okay, so I'm not going to pretend to be any sort of expert on it, but from what I have learned, you can get a temporary, like a day pass to pass through TSA and shop at some airport locations. Not all airports do this, so you would have to check with your local airport if it has a coach location to see if it's something that you could do. Now, me personally, the next largest airport, I'm in Southern California, you guys. There's a lot of airports here. I prefer to fly out of the smaller airports. The next biggest airport, the biggest airport near me is Los Angeles International. Ain't no way in hell I'm driving to LA through LAX, all that parking, the TSA. LAX is a zoo. I'm not doing it. So that's out of the question for me. And for some folks, yes, it's an access issue, right? I think this is an access issue, and I'm not willing to take the lengths and the measures to gain access to these bags. But as an everyday consumer, would you do it? Now, this next one, you guys, is also an access issue. And honestly, I think in these conversations, I think we also need to also hold these retailers more accountable. So the next one is purchasing multiples of a bag that is either highly coveted or is considered rare, hard to find, or highly sought after. And there's been a couple of content creators in the bag community, a lot of us, I think the current examples, that I'm not going to name any names, who've been able to secure multiples of one bag. Meanwhile, others are struggling to even just get one. Now, I will say, self-disclosure, right now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell on myself. So I was up on my late night scroll, like I tend to do, y'all, and I saw the large denim Rowan and Love Denim restock. And I was like, what? Immediately added to cart. It had restocked for $197. Mind you, when it initially launched, the bag was $249. And then I think when it relaunched, it was even more. It was a little bit more. I forget the second price. So to see it restock at $197, I was like, immediately get in my cart. And I was questioning myself, like, girl, what you gonna do with a second bag? What are you gonna do with a second bag? And so I considered maybe just getting it and keeping it as a backup, which sounds crazy as hell, but I did consider that. And then I also thought about one of my friends who really wanted the bag, and she kept missing the restocks. So I went ahead and purchased the bag, and I told her about it the next day. And so she does want to purchase the bag for me. But honestly, I was going to consider keeping it just to keep it. And I know that's crazy, especially when there's folks out there, like I said, who couldn't even get their hands on one. Hell, you guys know my struggle with getting the loved denim Rowan. And shout out to my good purse sis out in Georgia, Princess Fancy Girl. Thank you for graciously allowing me to purchase yours, because otherwise I would not have been able to get my hands on that bag. And so I want to know, do you guys think it's excessive, or should we as bag consumers be considerate of others who are looking for the bag and couldn't get their hands on it? Because at the end of the day, as a consumer, if you really want something, you have to work for it sometimes with these Coach drops and releases. And if that's not your thing, then Coach probably just isn't the brand for you right now, respectfully. And I understand that, because I'm at a point now where I'm also no longer willing to chase certain bags. Like, I shouldn't have to work to get a brand to take my money. So I get it. If you say the chase and the hunt is not for you, respect. I understand it. But for those who are willing to put in the extra work and go the extra mile to obtain the things that they want, why is it such a problem? Or why does it bother some of us so much? I would really love to know the answer to that, when in reality, this is an example of Coach playing scarcity games. And if they made the items readily available during drop, there would be no calling multiple stores, no running around to purchase things in other countries, or asking a friend to find it for you and ship it across the country for you. None of these extraordinary measures would have to be taken if Coach would just make the stock available from the get-go. I think it is wild that even I couldn't get the bag during the initial drop, and then happenstance happen to be scrolling late at night and catch the bag for $50 cheaper than what it was originally purchased at or sold listed at. And there must have been several in stock because I took advantage of it, as well as a few others that I know. So this is where I say we have to start holding these retailers and the brand itself accountable. Yes, we are doing crazy things as consumers to obtain the things that we want, but a lot of that is driven by the false scarcity that has been created by Coach itself. At the end of the day, you guys, we have to remember that collecting bags, loving bags at this point is just like any other hobby. And I think that we are very quick as women to judge each other, to be very harsh on each other, in a space where it's not even needed and not even warranted. We all have our own personal beliefs and habits and practices, and I think we just really need to show each other some grace and just learn to respect that we're all not going to do the same thing. We're not all going to move the same way, and let's just get back to enjoying the bags. If you, as a bag lover, want to go to the moon and back to get your bag, girl, get your bag. If you, as a content creator, are trying to grow your channel and you want to do unboxings to support that, then do what you got to do, sis. If you, as a consumer, prefer factory wrapped items, get your factory wrapped items, girl. Ain't nothing wrong with having that preference. And I will also say within this conversation, I don't want the process or the act of doing a return to become such a dirty thing that now our everyday viewers or just the everyday person feels like they've committed a crime just for returning something that doesn't work for them. In this economy, we work too hard for our money. If the bag ain't working for you, send it back, sis. Don't let that bag sit up in your house with tags. Send it back, especially if you know you don't like it. It's not going to work for you. Send it back. I absolutely think the extraordinary measures to obtain bags is just not for me. But if it makes you happy, because I think sometimes this whole process of chasing the bag, talking about the bag, obsessing over the bag, I think people enjoy the chase. That's really what this is. It's people enjoy the chase, and then honestly the dopamine hit of obtaining what they were chasing after. And if that's how you get your thrills and kicks out in life, girl, by all means, absolutely no judgment here. At the end of the day, like I said, you guys, enjoy your bag, love your bag, enjoy your process, enjoy the bag camaraderie and the sisterhood, okay? And let's just show each other some grace. But I want to hear from y'all in the comments. What do you think of all of these things? Be polite and respectful in the comments as much as possible. I want to hear from you. Okay, so I hope you guys have a great week. Happy Monday, and I will see you all in the next video.